in the plane or a historical chase. We love Nicolas Cage, star of screaming stage. Gonna watch him all day while he's screaming with rage. Cause we're unlocking the cage.
What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Meg Sinek with my co-host Chris Madden. You are watching Unlocking the Cage. This is a Nicolas Cage talk show. Our goal of this show is to watch and rank every single one of Nicolas Cage's 104 movies.
Yes.
So this is episode 2. So we have
2.
2 out of 104. So we're
long way to go.
A while. So just a warning, today's episode, we are watching Leaving Las Vegas. We will be spoiling the movie. If you do not want the movie spoiled, you probably shouldn't listen to a podcast / Twitch show about the movie. And also, on a more serious note, this is a general content warning for this episode. We're going to be covering substance abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, suicide. It's a really dark movie, and I think we're just gonna have to talk about it.
Dark ass movie. Also, if there's anything technical during the show, I'm running the stream, so just put it in the chat and let me know if I could fix it during the show. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of drop frames, so just let me know if there's any issues there. But I might turn the latency down, but we'll see. All right. Anyway.
Yes. A couple of things to note before we introduce our guest. Our theme song is by Will Gianetta. It rules. Also, just check in on how many Nicolas Cage movies we have seen to date. I have seen 12 now. Chris has seen
26.
Yeah, I'm keeping track. Last time it was 25. All right. So why don't we introduce our guest improviser, Patrick Gramion.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hey, Patrick.
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of the show.
You are excited because I noticed like you were like, because we, the way they had the Zoom set up is, we could see him while you guys can't see him on the stream. And he was just like gonna explode.
I'm like a little goblin grinner. I love it. I love this stuff.
So this movie, let's hear a little background. I'm going to share a little background on this movie. So this is Leaving Las Vegas again. It's based on a semi-autobiographical 1990 novel of the same name by an author named John O'Brien. Unfortunately, John O'Brien committed suicide after signing away the film rights to the novel. So this is coming already. I mean, the movie is dark to begin with, but it's also coming from like a place of tragedy. So sort of when they made this movie, he had already passed away. So that sort of the whole thing was very loaded. The movie was a massive critical success. Nicolas Cage was nominated and won Best Actor for this movie. So this is his one Oscar win, which is kind of cool to do this as our second movie. They also got nominated for Best Actress for Elizabeth Shue, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director. It was a $4 million movie that made $50 million, which is pretty huge.
Cha-ching.
And just a huge critical success. So it'll be interesting to see, how it holds up in relationship to how it was viewed back in. Oh, I didn't write down the date of this movie. I think it was 1996. Back in 1996 when it was
96.
made.
So this was pre-Face Off?
This was 95. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
95.
I think Face Off was 97.
Yeah, so here's a little new segment that we have. We're going to call this segment Brendan's Corner. This is where I share information that I got from my friend, screenwriter, and former film major Brendan Buzard, who actually knows stuff about movies, unlike me. So we can learn more about the historical context of this. So for Nicolas Cage's career, this was the movie right before the Con Air Face Off The Rock action trilogy. Literally, this is the movie he made right before that. So kind of an interesting change of pace. So right before this, he had been making a lot of like light comedies and like sort of not great genre stuff. So he wasn't doing that great as a actor. He was working, but he wasn't like a critically acclaimed actor. And this really changed the way people thought about him, because he had this, what I'm sure we will all probably agree was a pretty impressive performance, despite maybe what we think about the movie in general,
Yeah,
which we'll get into. But it did re-legitimize him in Hollywood's eyes. And then a little bit more context for the film industry. This is an indie film, and it was made right around the time that the industry was sort of embracing indie films. So like right around Pulp Fiction, all that kind of stuff. And it starred two people whose careers had peaked in the 80s. So anyway, just an interesting context. Let's now I'm just curious to hear from you guys about like what your backgrounds are with the movies. So like Chris and I, neither of us had seen it, right?
No.
So we didn't really know much about it. I mean, Chris, did you know any more than I did about it? You knew one thing.
All I knew was, in the spoiler alert, he dies at the end.
Yeah.
And it's a really gross way. So I like, not gross, but like a lot of dry heaving is what somebody told me. So I was like, man, I don't want to see that movie, but here we are now. How about you, Patrick? What did you?
So I'll be real. Like, I think I saw this movie when I was like 19 or 18, like first time I saw it. And it was a point in my life where I was like, I think like 18 me was like, this is a mature, obviously an adult film with serious themes, so it must be good. Like that was like I went into that with like that mindset. And so in my head, like I've almost like mythologized this movie because I've only seen it maybe like twice, and both times were like high school and college. And so over the past, like I haven't seen it in a decade. So in my head, I think I've self-mythologized this film as like the ultimate Cage performance, and like this is proof that Cage is a good actor. And like, you know, because like a lot of people, I think they're wrong about Cage. A lot of people think he's just a goofball and he's fun because he screams wacky shit. And don't get me wrong, I love that aspect of Cage. I'm team wacky Cage. There is that aspect to him, but I think he's a capital A actor who can like legitimately like he's a master of his craft. I think he's a master of his craft, and so I think that like this is a movie that at least in my head demonstrated that to some degree.
Okay.
At least like. And like he's idiosyncratic. I think his mastery of the craft is not like he's not Daniel Day-Lewis. You're not getting Cage's Lincoln, but you are getting like a.
I would love to see that.
Cage's Lincoln. That's the movie that we need. The country needs that right now.
Oh man, that'd be. They should have made Lincoln Vampire Hunter with Cage. That would have been a good movie.
That would have
been. Yeah, that would have whipped.
Oh man, Abraham Lincoln, big
Cage in a stovepipe hat.
They could have just called it Cage Braham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and people would have watched it. They were like, "Oh, I know what I'm getting." Like Cage Braham Lincoln.
Okay, so in my head, that's a movie where like Nicolas Cage like goes to sleep in one of his pyramids, and then he like wakes up and he's suddenly in the body of Abraham Lincoln, and he's like, "Oh, how did I get back here?" And it's like I don't know if it's like a mummy's curse or like some like he accidentally kissed the Declaration of Independence. I don't know. But he's like stuck in the body of Abraham Lincoln, and he can't leave until he kills all vampires in America.
I would love to see the movie. All right, let's I'm just gonna I promise I know there's been a lot of me talking, but after this it'll be less me talking. I'm just gonna read a brief plot summary of the movie just so for our audience members that may need a refresher or maybe haven't seen it, and so we can use that as our jumping off point for digging into it. So Ben Sanderson, played by Nicolas Cage, is a Hollywood screenwriter who has lost his job, family, and friends. With nothing left to live for and a sizable severance check from his boss, he heads to Las Vegas to drink himself to death. He meets Sarah, who's Elizabeth Shue, a prostitute working for an abusive Latvian pimp named Yuri Butsov. Polish mobsters are after Yuri, so he ends his relationship with Sarah in fear that the Poles may hurt her. Ben, who's Nicolas Cage, offers Sarah $500 to come to his room for an hour. Sarah agrees, but Ben does not want sex. Instead, they talk and develop a rapport. Sarah invites Ben to move into her apartment rather quickly, I might add. Ben instructs Sarah to never ask him to stop drinking, which is a key point in the movie. Sarah asks Ben not to criticize her occupation. She's a prostitute, and he agrees. At first, the pair are happy, but soon become frustrated with each other's behavior. Sarah begs Ben to see a doctor, which makes him furious. While Sarah is out working, Ben goes to a casino and returns with another prostitute, Sarah, who's played by Mariska Hargitay, by the way. Sarah returns to find them in her bed and throws Ben out. Shortly afterwards, Sarah is violently gang raped by several college students in a really upsetting scene. Yeah. The next morning, Sarah is spotted by her landlady returning home bruised and is evicted. Sarah receives a call from Ben, who is on his deathbed. Sarah visits Ben. The two make love. He dies shortly thereafter. Later, Sarah explains to her therapist that she accepted Ben for who he was and loved him.
So let me just say that description of the plot. I'm
Chris,
sorry.
wait, stop.
Okay.
You're,
What? I was doing it again. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah. No. I hit Control Shift T on my computer to change a tab, and that turned my voice mod on.
I legit thought that was like a part of the show. Like
That was when I run down the cage facts, but I say them in a sexy voice. No, I was gonna say that description of the plot, right? Sorry about that, guys. That description of the plot, right away, smooths over what is like seriously, like some seriously weird ass, like jarring, like they're like she visits him in his apartment hotel room and they make love. There was like a death jerk to a insertion. I don't know what that make love is like the weirdest way to say that anyway.
Also by that point, like he's like brain dead. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's upsetting.
messed up. It's
Like,
really
really
messed up.
upsetting. It's so sad.
But let's
Let's
start.
Overall, is discuss. Let's start with Pat. Since you've seen the movie before, what overall did you feel about the movie watching it again this week?
Oh man, so going into it, I was like, yeah, this movie's great. I can't wait to talk about this good movie with my friends. They're gonna be so like, and then like going through it, it was like, oh no, what have I done? It is okay. So this is what I will say. Like, there are parts of it that are great, I think, and I think like especially like the initial, like the first like 5 minutes of the movie, Nicolas Cage does such a good job of like. He's like, and there's that one scene where he's dancing in like the supermarket buying alcohol.
Hold on.
You want me to bring that clip up?
Oh,
We have that
please.
clip.
Yeah, I got that
Yeah.
clip. Hold on, I'll bring up that clip for you guys. Oh crap. Hold on. Guys, you know how I roll. I'm not technically prepared for this show ever.
That's
So,
the lie.
you know. Okay, so they'll see it on their end, but yeah, this is that clip he's talking about right now.
You got to see.
Oh yeah, there we go.
And it's like that. The music is Sting too. It's fucking Sting singing.
Oh man, it's so like, I love that. I don't know, like that's great. Like, and so you go from that to like him like going into that meeting where it's, by the way, it's Richard Lewis, who's like one of the executives, the guy he's
Right.
talking to. And,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and he's like terrifying in that moment, in my opinion. Like he's like, he goes from being like, you see him like go from like happy and joyful to like terrifying, and then when he meets him by the corner, like when Richard Lewis takes him away from like their combo, because like Nicholas is there to ask him for booze or beg him for money for booze. He's so depressing and so sad. Like it's like you see like just the gamut of emotions I see exuding from Cage in the first 5 minutes. Just like mwah. Like he goes.
It's not bad. There's no question that it's good acting for
Yeah.
sure.
Like
Also-
he's good.
Like Richard Lewis, like first off, this movie, so many like you're like, wait, it's that guy? Just like
Lot
keep
of
showing
cameos,
up.
yeah.
A lot of,
Oh,
like
I have a
cameos.
list.
Oh my god.
Do you want me to play like I have a list of these like because it's like Richard Lewis and Steven Weber, the lady the female lead from Hot Shots in the
Yes.
bar.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
The French lady or whatever from Hot
yeah.
Shots.
And then like in the initial stripper scene, motherfucking French Stewart is one of the
Yep.
horny
I knew it.
businessmen.
I said, is that French Stewart? It's French Stewart with like a scar on his face and like a shaved head.
Really
like
brief appearance too. He's not even like.
Oh, it's like literally a second.
it's like so weird how they kept dropping those people in.
Oh, and I'm not even.
No, we got way more. I got a
Oh
couple
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
hit
let's
him,
do
hit
it.
me, hit me.
Oh, I was gonna say Julian Lennon is a bartender.
Yeah.
Yes.
The child of John Lennon is a bit part in this movie. Director of Moon.
We
It's
got
insane.
Lou Rawls is a taxi driver. We have.
But he had a song in the original movie and they cut it.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. He was supposed to sing in the
Marissa
taxi.
Hargitay plays another prostitute.
Oh man.
I'm sure you got more probably.
Oh, I have a couple. Like, okay, the kind of like the Midwestern guy that like Sarah tries to.
Oh yeah, Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
fucking lieutenant or whatever, the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. Insane. And then the bartender there is Danny Huston.
Now who's that?
he's like a good, solid character actor. He's like in
He's
I saw
Angelica Houston's brother, right?
yes, I saw him in Children of Men recently. He was
half brother, yeah.
yeah, he was like the guy who runs the art project in Children of Men. And then Laurie Metcalf is like the landlord.
The neighbor, yeah, landlord lady is fucking man. Yeah, I kept like looking around, like, my God, what's happening? But
It makes me wonder if like was this like a movie that like everyone. I'm not saying it's a good movie, but it makes me wonder at the time if this was like a hot script people wanted to be a part of.
I mean, I'm
they
sure
want
it
to get
was.
in on it.
Yeah, it's because it is just like it is baffling because it's like the budget's tiny and it's just like how do you get all these and even like there's like Bob Rafelson's in it who's like the guy who directed 5 Easy Pieces. Like there's just a lot of weird cameos. It's so weird.
Pat, I want to get a solid answer from you. So if you were gonna say just in a sentence how it held up for you, how would you answer that?
I gotta have to say poorly in most ways, but in some ways not as bad as I would think. I'll give it. Be like, yeah, I'll say like I still think it has merits. Like I was able to like glean something, and there's like themes in this movie that I still I don't know if I don't agree with them, like they're bad, but like there's interesting, I don't know, there's like, I don't know. Also, I'm like a sucker for like I like how they portray, the one thing I will like to say about this movie that's positive is like the way they portray alcoholism. Like there's no way I want to be Nicolas Cage in this movie. He's not cool. He's not fucking cool at all. He fucking sucks.
I think what they do is really over exaggerate how much alcohol a human being can drink before they straight up die. Because he chugs like an entire bottle of vodka while driving, and he's drinking more later on in the evening. It's like, that's enough to kill you right there. Like, if you don't get that out of your body, you're dead. It goes right to your brain. It passes the blood-brain barrier.
I think that's why I liked this movie when I was 19, because like I didn't drink until I was 20, and like I didn't realize like that's a thing that would have gone over my head. Like,
he could just be puking off camera all the time.
Let's say that he pukes a lot, but fortunately there wasn't a lot of puke scenes.
They didn't show any pukes.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so Chris.
Yeah.
How did you like the movie?
I think I say no. I say I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like, oh, I'd want to watch that again. I loved it. It was more like, there were parts of it I loved. I thought some parts of it were very cool. Like, there's a part where he's sitting on a bench and he's drinking a martini, and like she walks up to him and she's like, he's like, I was looking for you, and like you have no clue if this is real or not. And he's like sitting on a bench outside with a perfectly made glass martini. And it's like, he's so wasted. Like, how did he even get there within his hand? So I'm just like, this is so dreamy and weird. I kind of like that part. That was cool. There's a few moments I like, but overall, I would say it didn't hold up.
Well, I mean, how would it? Oh, you mean like holding up? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Fun trivia fact: they didn't have a permit for the outdoor scenes, so they shot them all real fast.
That makes sense. I will say one thing that I do like about it, and I like about the Cage performance specifically, is all the weird, like so much of this movie was ad-libbed, like 100%.
That's a question I have about his movies in general. Is like, are people writing weird things for him to say? Like, are people writing like?
Oh, can we do the scene in the bar when he does?
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, let's do that, because that one has I think a line that could be ad-libbed. I don't know, but that was pretty funny.
My theory is that like 90% of his lines are ad-libbed. That's my theory.
Yeah,
I imagine writing something for him, like you would just be writing such weird, unnatural things.
Oh, I have like a list of lines that I love.
This is him in the bar hitting on a lady.
What do you say we finish these and we go back to my apartment on the beach? I'll throw a movie in the VCR and mix you up a gooey blender drink. Sound good? Sounds sexy?
Hey, Ben.
Now, is that guy somebody, the bartender there?
That's Graham Beckel.
Okay. Bud, give me another. really wish you'd come home with me. You're so cute. And I'm really good in bed, too, believe me.
It's just like, what the fuck?
It's so grim. It's so.
It's especially the first part of the movie is a lot of really awkward scenes like that. Like I know we haven't. I don't know whether we want to do the bank scene now or save that.
Oh yeah, I read. So Roger Ebert thinks that scene's a dream. That's his
Really?
argument.
That was something for me that was confusing through the movie. Is what is a dream, what is not. Especially because stuff just sort of cut like right around the middle, especially with Elizabeth Shue's character, stuff sort of cuts all over the place, like with her relationship with Yuri the pimp, like we're cutting.
Oh, that stuff was crazy. Yeah, okay, so I hate Yuri. Sucks. He's a bad character.
Let's talk about Yuri because I was surprised that he just sort of died in the middle of the movie and then never came back in any way. Like, why was he there?
I think honestly, I literally think he was there to give her because like that's the main problem with this movie, in my opinion, is there's not a good reason for her to be with this guy. Like that's the biggest. Oh yeah, 100%. Like you, and so what I think they were trying to do with Yuri is give her like the reason. Like I think what the movie's trying to do with her is to give like she needs love in her life. I think she needs like, or she wants to like care for something. She's struggling to find this in Vegas. Yuri is, I think, like supposed to like exacerbate that. Is supposed to kind of like give her like a reason to go to bed. I think it fails. I think it fails.
Me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. The one. Yeah, you go first. You go.
No, they don't do any character development they do some for her, but like at the end of the movie, you're still wondering what her motivation was the entire time. Like they hint at it. Like there's only one part that kind of even kind of give you a glimpse into her head, and it's when she's laying in bed and she's like, "I'm using you. I need you," but like you don't know why she's saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they really leave a lot, and it works with Cage, like leaving it naked, leaving it because like with Cage, like they give you enough, they give you the photograph of like his family, and so that's enough to figure out why. With her, it's like I think there is a version of this movie that's less ridiculous that works. I think there is a world where you could have this plot, but
you need to do a lot more background for her character and explain why she's latching onto this person who has like basically no redeeming qualities other than likes her.
I would say that I would argue that like the movie would be better gender swapped.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you follow the actual like, I was thinking about this. If you follow the actual like structure of a movie, the only person with an arc is Elizabeth Shue, and he doesn't really have an arc. He just kind of like, well, I'm going to drink myself to death.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like, I did it. But she has she comes through a situation and comes out the other side, like, understanding new things, so like, I feel like she almost is the main character of the movie. More happens to her than happens to Nick Cage.
And she is also the protagonist to it, like, because she's like she's the one getting interviewed.
Yeah.
By I guess that's her, it must be her therapist. I'm assuming it's either a therapist or a cop, right? Like those are the two.
Did you say that already, Meg? That they added those later because?
No, I haven't. So here's a trivia ahead of time. So all of the scenes of Sarah speaking to herself or an unidentified person, they were actually Elizabeth Shue's wardrobe, hair, and makeup tests that were shot prior to production.
What?
Yeah.
Weird.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought that's what you were trying to get me to say. So they the director used them during the edit because he felt like they strengthened the narrative of the film. The producers didn't like that. But so she's the only actress ever to be Oscar nominated for her wardrobe tests.
That is so
wow.
Weird. And they're good. She's like, Elizabeth Shue is good in this movie.
Yeah.
She's given a shit character, but sometimes she makes it believable. There are moments where it almost, but not really, like, because it strains credulity. The whole movie, you're just like, Elizabeth Shue could go with, like, leave. Like, you want her to leave.
That's really, I would say this was the most challenging part of the movie for me, is that it's basically just like this story of someone who's in love with an addict who, I don't love watching that story. And I think that this was like an especially bad version of that story because whereas what's that movie, the Lady Gaga Bradley, A Star Is Born, right?
Oh
It's got a lot of similar elements, but they have this whole history, they've been together, he things
that works
out for him, And so you're just like, oh, okay, I see why she's invested in this. And this, for Elizabeth Shue, it's like she just met this guy and she's decided she's going to bring him into her life. She's not even like trying to fix him or anything, with his explicit wishes not to ask him to stop drinking. Like, it's just sort of like, your pimp just died. You are free. You can go do whatever you want with your life, you know?
And it's like, I think part of why it fails too is that, I hate to say that, but I think the director and everyone back then, like, I think the opinions on prostitution were different.
Right.
And I think they are like equating like prostitution with alcoholism, which is so fucked. That's like they're not the same thing. Like,
But
So,
all right, so
yeah,
prostitution's legal in Las Vegas, which I didn't understand about this movie was like, it's a legal thing to do. They portrayed it. I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have to be like maybe out in the street. It's not legal. Like you have to be at a certain place to do it or something. But yeah, the way they treated it was like as if she was like, you know, there was no like, you know, she couldn't go to the police, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, you know, I thought it was legal, but maybe my understanding's wrong.
Well,
yeah,
I think it's even if it's like legal or not, I think it's like they morally put alcoholism and prostitution on the same pedestal. That like there's like moments in the movie where like I feel like there's scenes where they almost call Elizabeth Shue a street rat. Like it's like that level of like you're Aladdin stealing bread. Like that level of like like anger is shit given towards her.
Or is that the movie saying like you know, this is how people treat sex workers and they shouldn't treat them this way? I don't know.
No, I think it's so like I feel like the thesis of this movie is look at these two people that are troubled and they found, you know, one is troubled with being an alcoholic and one is troubled with being a prostitute, and they found each other and they accepted each other for who they are, you know?
I love how it's like, hey, I'm an alcoholic. Don't try to change me. Like
and then she's like, I'm a prostitute. Don't try to change me. Like she has like a similar, she doesn't say it like that, but like there are lines, it alludes to it similar. Like it's pretty.
She really, it does. We have very close sex. She's just like, well, I'm still gonna work, and he's like, that's okay, and he's like, well, I'm still gonna drink, and she's like, that's okay.
So this movie had a bad audio, like the vocals and the music were all fucked up with the mixing. But do you remember the scene where he whispers in her ear after he gives her the earrings and is like something really dirty?
What is? I don't remember.
They're in a mall.
Oh, fuck! I cannot.
We could probably look it up, but he says something really fucked up, and I think that's the moment he's judgmental about her being a hooker. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a moment. Yeah, there was a moment where he definitely like, and then he goes and cheats on her.
It was so muted. It was so muted because you couldn't understand what he said. Like you were like, oh wait, did he just judge her, or was that something sexy?
Yeah, I
can't
know,
tell.
Patrick, if it was like the version we had, but we really struggled to hear the sound, and it would be like we would be like, what did they say? What did they turn it crank, and all you hear, and then all of a sudden it would like turn to Sting, be like,
all the clips I have here, I had to redo the audio because you couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is like I guess like the way they shot it in the time. I would assume, but I'm with you. I agree with you that the audio is kind of terrible. I was lucky, like I listened to it with my headphones in front of my. So that's like I think I listened to it literally the best way you possibly could. And even then, I'm still like there were moments where I was like, I have to rewind this or put on like the
subtitles. Yeah.
Subtitles. There were some funny. I'm not funny, but there were some weird cageisms. Like I have like a few like.
I got a couple too.
Was it? I'm a prickly pear.
That was a crazy. So all right. So just for the context of that scene, they've gone off to the desert. They're staying in a motel. They make out on like the side of the pool.
Oh yeah.
We're jumping all around the movie right now, but this is yeah.
She takes off her shirt. She covers herself in bourbon. Which is an echo to the scene in the bank which maybe we should play the scene in the bank.
Yeah, let's play the scene in the bank.
An insane scene.
This is another insane scene.
So this is the one that you said Roger Ebert thought was
Roger Ebert, by the way, he gave this 4 stars.
Yeah, I read his review actually.
It's interesting.
It was very positively received at the time.
All right, here's the clip.
Are you desirable? Are you irresistible? Maybe if you drank bourbon with me, it would help. Maybe if you kissed me and I could taste the sting in your mouth, it would help. If you drank bourbon with me naked, if you smelled of bourbon as you fucked me, it would help. it would increase my esteem for you.
And I cut it off there because it gets way crazier than that. It's so
yeah.
gross.
And
By the way, I will say I love the makeup in this movie is great because Nicolas Cage looks like a fucking Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he looks like a fucking like Nosferatu. Not even like Dracula, Nosferatu, Dracula.
He's like the whole movie. That is something I did like. Is like the whole movie, just the worst DTs you've seen in your life. Just looking like he's dying all the time, and like
honestly upsetting. Like just to see, like just all these different like ways of being really wasted. It was.
And Elizabeth Shue's just like disregards it too. She just like looks right past it.
Which is crazy. It's all crazy.
I want to come back to the scene. So foreshadowing at the beginning, he's talking into this like tape recorder. I had a note that was like, oh God. Like a alcoholic Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have produced that. Diane, I want you to pour
Diane, take a note.
bourbon on your tits. He gets talked about this, and then we have the scene later by the pool where she's literally pouring bourbon on her naked breasts, and like they're hooking up and whatever, and it's this like filmed very sexy, very like, oh, look at these people, they're having a sexy time. And then she's like, let's go into the bedroom, and he stands up and he crashes into a glass table, and he's lying there in the glass, and he says, I'm a prickly pear,
It's so grim.
It's like this weird balance of him saying all these weird things, and then also just this is so dark. Like, then what other? So Pat, you said you had other Nicolas Cage-isms too.
Oh, I have a few. Let me go through my list. There's like the one he did when he was in the bar, like in the bar where he meets the lady. It's where he gets punched.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find that.
That part was great. That part was.
Oh yeah, and then
that's another cameo. The lady from Becker, the woman he's hitting on or talking to, is this lady from the show Becker. I mean, that's all I know her from. But it's just like another random another person.
Yep. Oh, it's like we lean into the bar, not on the bar, into the bar. So weird. And then he comes home and he's like he's like kind of like sort of flirting with a lady in a bar that's not the character Sarah, not Elizabeth Shue's character. And this lady is like having a fight with like her biker boyfriend.
Yeah.
Biker comes, he's like starts talking in a British accent. Very weird. And then he like gets punched in the face, nose, blood everywhere. Yeah. Comes back home with fucking eggs and like bread, a baguette. He went to the grocery store with like a full nosebleed.
I didn't put that together. Oh my God.
And then Elizabeth Shue starts making out with him. He's covered in.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
And then he says like, I'm the cling clang king of the rim ram room. Insane. Like it's like something Captain Kangaroo would say.
He also says we got eggs.
Yes, I literally have a note that's we got eggs.
We got eggs.
All right. I want to steer. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I steer us towards something else. I was gonna say there was one moment in this movie where I loved, and it was
actually my question was gonna be what were our favorite parts in the movie?
All right, there's one moment I'm gonna point out. I don't know why I love this part. It kind of like encapsulates the entire movie in one scene. Is when he takes her out to that date, and they're out to dinner or something, and they're eating like pasta out of a shell. Do you remember this? And he looks dead. Like he looks like he's about to die, and he's like,
he looks like Uncle Fester. It's Uncle Fester,
like a sweaty Uncle Fester, and and she asks him like, why is he gonna kill himself? And he's like, I don't remember why I'm gonna kill myself. He's like, am I gonna kill myself because I'm drinking, or am I drinking because I'm gonna kill myself? It's like this like a loop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's like where the heck is that line?
It's like a crazy line.
It's killing myself as a way to drink. She goes, you're drinking as a way to kill yourself, and then he goes, no, killing myself as a way to drink. Like he
it's this
Oh,
weird
man.
thing. But then in the scene, in the moment I love is when she's gonna smoke a cigarette, and he like he's got the shakes and everything, flawlessly takes out a matchbook and does the
Yes.
trick and hands it to her. And I was like, all right, I love that part. That was I don't know why I loved it, but that was my favorite part of the movie.
Oh yeah. Now see, that's the thing is like if they had more moments like that where like because in that moment you see like okay, like there's a world where this character is like he had a life, like he's entertaining and nice and like if they had more of that, then maybe I'm not saying it still wouldn't work probably, but it'd be a little more believable.
There wasn't a lot where he was nice. Like I feel like the first part of the movie was just setting him up as being this like drunk, like gross horn dog who's like not really treating anyone well. Like I don't. Just,
Oh no, I just like I have so many of my notes are just like Nicolas Cage is a ghoul. Jesus Christ, unnerving. This guy is a ghoul.
It's like somehow, yeah.
Pat, did you have any moments that you liked in them? Like anything that you actually liked?
You know, I will say I think Nicolas Cage's performance is like I think the two main performances are really good. I do think
that's fair.
they're both and I think like Nicolas Cage like God bless him, like he's just insane in this movie. There's just so many like weird like Cageisms, and I think my favorite Cageism in this movie because this is another ad lib thing. There's no way this is fucking in the script. It's the scene where like Nicolas Cage is like it's probably like 3/4 into the film. He's not doing good. This is like Nicolas Cage, like last legs Cage. And Elizabeth Shue is like begging him to eat some white rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and he's
And he
just
does the chopsticks with the ice cube, right?
yes, the chopsticks with the ice cube. Like she leaves because like they get in a fight. I forget what the fight is even about. I think it's
Oh,
just like
because she asked him to go see the doctor.
yeah, and he's like no. Like he's like except way sadder. Like it's just like I'm not
It's
doing
like
that.
no doctor, no doctor.
By the end of the movie, it is just like he is monosyllabic. It's insane.
And he's like, is it time for me to get hotel? Like what?
And it's so bad. And then he just takes the chopstick, puts it into the vodka bottle, and eats. It's so nuts. That's such a nuts. But it's like I don't know. That's like that's what makes Cage great is he'll do weird shit like that.
I'm gonna say so. The one part of the movie that I like, well, there's two parts. So I like the scenes with the landlord couple. I thought
They
were
rule.
funny.
Yeah, they were great.
And
The
then
golf.
one thing I actually liked about the movie was that he did die at the end. I don't know how much we want to get into this like really awful gang rape scene at all.
Oh, the worst.
It's
Yeah.
pretty upsetting. But when that scene happened, my thought was immediately like, oh, this is gonna be the thing that turns him around. He's gonna see this horrible thing that happened to her, and then he's gonna stop drinking and change his life. Because I didn't know anything about this movie. I was just like, and I think if that had happened, it would have really pissed me off.
Oh, totally.
Because
Evil.
it's like, oh, all right, so she's just there to motivate him to change his life. So for better or for worse, he seems to have no knowledge that even happened, and then just dies. So,
oh yeah, alone. Like not alone. Like he almost dies alone.
Yes.
Honestly, it would have been a better movie if he just fucking died alone. Like
Yeah.
as grim as that sounds, as evil and fucked up as that sounds, like that would have fit the movies.
Yeah.
Like I think like I do think that's like a plus to the movie as it is just like he's never and it's interesting because I watched Children of Men before this movie, weirdly enough. And that's a great movie. I love Children of Men. Children of Men, like 10 out of 10, probably. But the one interesting thing about watching that movie before this one is like Clive Owen's character in that movie is an alcoholic, right? And he like it never affects him really. He's never like he's able to like survive this whole movie while like nipping hooch occasionally. It's so weird. It's so and it made me like think about how like wow, in a lot of movies people will just be like alcoholics and it doesn't really like it's like a weird quirk, and it's not like that's bad in that movie because I think there are probably people like that can like exactly.
It's not like there's a lot of hooch to go around in that in the apocalypse
world,
too. So he's just kind of like, I gotta get my hooch.
But it was interesting just to see like I think it is like good that there's like one movie where it's like alcoholism is treated as like a supremely like it's fucked up. It's bad.
It's like he has cancer. It's like he's straight up like got some kind of illness and he's gonna die, and like that's how she treats it. It's more like
oh yeah,
he's convalescing.
That is a weird like that is so funny. It is like they treat it like cancer.
Like it's like he's gonna diagnose and he only like and she says something weird too. She says, "I know we both had limited time."
Yes. That's actually a good. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because I had that. Yeah, we both realized that we didn't have much time. Is something she says near the end of the movie. What does that mean? Like I feel like she right before she met him, she was like about to have an upswing. Like she could have literally done anything she wanted with her life. She could have kept being a prostitute, but been on her own. Like now that this abusive pimp had died, like she could have, gone to school. She could have done a lot of stuff, but instead, like she says she doesn't have a lot of time. Like, what does that even mean?
Maybe she was thinking about killing herself too.
Maybe it's like so.
That's dark as fuck, but I don't know.
It is dark. I don't think
there's nothing that indicates that.
No.
It's just like I truly do think it is like a product of the times in the sense of like I think that people did think of like even as late as like the 90s like prostitution is like morally fucked up. Like they treated it as something morally fucked up on par with like drugs and like crime and like not that drugs are morally fucked up either, but like have fun kids, but like it's just I think it is like a product of like that like era of thinking, and in a weird way I feel like this movie felt like it was progressive at the time because in a way it is like, oh wow, alcohol, prostitutes are human. Whoa! Like I think that's like what the movie's trying to do, but now it just seems antiquated as fuck. Like
we should touch on the trope of the hooker with a heart of gold.
Oh wow!
Which is a great example.
What's did you say your favorite part of the movie you loved?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I said I like that he died at the end, and I like the
sorry.
landlady. Yeah, thank you for following up though.
Okay.
I'm going to say quickly, let's say, I'm curious what were the parts of the movie that we hated. I mean, I think I know just the real, I don't even really want to get into it.
We can't. It's bad. It's bad.
I think also that the plot description did a little bit of a, I mean, it didn't whitewash it a little bit with the description of that scene too. But like, it was like so terrible. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Oh yeah. It's like, that, and then on top of that, like I really hated like Yuri sucked. Like they did such a poor.
He was such a weird character. Like he just sort of shows up. He's like abusive towards her, and then he dies. And then you're like, I thought he says something. Come back.
He says something though. When they're having sex, he's like, or like right before they have sex, he's like, "Do you feel alone? Are you alone?" And then I think that was like something that she said later. She's like, I don't want to be alone. I hate being alone all the time. Like, so
maybe that was part of her motivation for latching onto him, was that like because Yuri was gone, she needed someone else to.
Or like like maybe she took care of Yuri and she needed someone to take care of. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think both of these people, like it's like he loved alcohol. Like he loved alcohol. He didn't love. I mean, he loved her a little bit, but like he loved alcohol. And I think like the movie is trying to posit that like she didn't love him as much as she loved just being with someone. Like she needed something. Like she felt so alone, and that she needed like, because like the whole time she's like this high-end prostitute, and she like has these, she'll be an escort to a bunch of people, but she doesn't have like a connection with any of them. And ostensibly in this movie, she says that like, oh, I feel a connection with, like, you're one of the few people I feel a connection with. And I think that's like what she's after, is that connection, but it does a poor job of like.
Yeah, it doesn't really portray it.
Exactly. Yeah, it does not like that. That's what the movie wants to do, and it fails.
All right, it's 5:47, guys. Let's pivot. I would love to watch the little clip we have of Nicolas Cage winning the Oscar, just as a little palate cleanser. Because
let's watch that. That's a good one.
It's kind of cute. It's a little cute clip we have.
There's a couple things I wish I'd queued up, but I didn't. One was when he's at the table and Mariska Hargitay starts hitting on him. There's a part where he goes, "Snake eyes!" Like he says, "Snake eyes." And I was like, oh man, we should get that for the Snake Eyes show, because that would be fucking awesome.
When we eventually do Snake Eyes.
All right, here. And also what I really wanted was in the mall. Do you guys remember he's dressed exactly like Han Solo when he meets her in the mall?
Oh yeah, that little like vest.
He's got the vest on. Anyway, I wish I had gotten those. All right, here he is winning the Oscar.
And everyone in my family, my gorgeous wife, Patricia. And I just finally want to say, hi, Weston, it's Daddy. I love you. Thank you.
That's all. I just thought that was cute.
I guess his son's name is Weston.
Yeah, okay, but do you know that his other son wasn't born yet. Do you know his other son's name? I don't want to spoil a trivia for future episodes, but the other son is named Kal-El.
What?
Oh, like Superman, because he was supposed to
Yeah.
be Superman.
I would pay $1 million to see Nicolas Cage Superman.
Maybe that'll be a bonus episode where we do a script reading of the never made Nick Cage Superman script.
Oh God, please do that.
So let's go on to the trivia section where we learn some trivia about the thing. So
Learning some
the thing I
trivia.
want to point out that's related to Pat's background. So the red mullet ad that we see several times in the movie, it's the name of the director Mike Figgis's production company, and that's Mike Figgis in the ad.
And he's also a bartender, right, or something like that.
No, close. Mike Figgis is. Do you remember when he goes to the gas station and there's like some threatening Polish like mobster staring at him?
Yeah.
The guy with like curly
With
hair.
the
that's
sunglasses
staring.
on.
That is this. So they have the director have two cameos in the movie as two separate people, which is really funny.
Mike
Weird
Figgis.
choice.
This movie is Cameo City. It's so weird.
Cameos. Some other things. So Nicolas Cage got into character by binge drinking, as you can imagine, and visiting a lot of hospitalized career alcoholics. And he would film himself drunk to study the way that he talks. So he like just, as you can imagine, he just got drunk a lot and then just learned.
Oh
from that.
man, Patricia Arquette must have had a great time with that.
Yeah.
I'm a prickly pear. We know, Cage. We know.
Are they still married? Are they still together?
No.
Oh, okay.
He divorced her. He married Lisa Marie Presley. He divorced her. He married some other people.
Wow.
At we'll throw some of those in trivia too about his love life for sure. Another trivia: he doesn't eat a single thing during the movie. Not a single. He like puts spaghetti on his fork in the restaurant, but he doesn't eat it. And then, as we discussed, he eats an ice cube. There was what's it called? There's an alcohol manufacturer that like made them Photoshop the label out of every scene.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
I would if I was like an alcohol. It's like, maybe I don't want to be associated with this movie.
And then for the last scene, so when he was on his deathbed, he put down a
You mean
bed
his
of-
fuck bed?
Oh God.
His lovemaking bed? You mean, Meg?
He put down a bed of ice. He was lying on a bed of ice to get his body to spasm, but they ended up ditching it because the ice was too loud.
Oh my god.
That's so.
And then here's my favorite bit of trivia about this movie, which is that, Mariska Hargitay's character, she goes back, Nicolas Cage takes her home, and that makes Elizabeth Shue's character mad. Originally, Naomi Campbell was supposed to play that character.
Whoa. Insane.
That would have been a much different scene.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat. Sorry.
I was gonna ask you guys. I have a question. So he won the Oscar for this. I have a question. Do you guys think he deserved the Oscar for this? And then my second question is if he didn't win the Oscar for this, is there another movie that you would argue he was better in and deserved the Oscar for?
As someone who has only seen 12 Nicolas Cage movies, I want to take that question and I will revisit it in some months for myself. But I'm curious what you think.
I will, because I'm gonna say it is it's hard. It's interesting because the thing too about the Oscars is there's such specific it's tough. I would say that I think adaptation he's better in. I think adaptation. Yeah, I think he's
adaptation is better.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I think that's
nominated for that.
He did, but he did not win.
Okay.
Well, maybe he did actually. Wait, let me check. I don't think he did.
I will say about this movie though, along the lines of what you're saying, is that it was setting up Nick Cage for success. It was made for him to be wacky and weird and I feel like if he was gonna get an Oscar, he didn't have to try that hard in this one. You know what I mean?
I will say that here's the thing is I think Nicolas Cage is not an actor that's drawn to Oscar bait, which is why you don't see a lot of movies that you would traditionally consider Oscar worthy under the Cage. And we can debate that forever, but I think this is a movie that's specifically, I think this is the most Oscar baity movie he's done.
Yes.
And it's weird, yeah, because it's not even. I wouldn't even say it's traditionally Oscar bait. Like, it's not like this is the King's Speech or what we're watching. But yeah, this is definitely just like it's designed to give him a role to play like the perfect Oscar. It's an actor. Yeah,
I do agree with you guys. I do think adaptation. I think he deserved an Oscar for that. I think that was really good.
Oh yeah.
Brendan put Moonstruck in the chat, but we haven't seen that one yet.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Come back to that one.
Yeah. Also, Raising Arizona, maybe too. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We haven't seen that one yet either.
Well, we have metrics, to define. So
this is a great transition because let's pivot over. Chris, bring up the spreadsheet. We're gonna rank this movie and see where it falls on our master list of the best Nicolas Cage movies, which right now only includes one other movie. So it'll either be number 1 or number 2.
I feel like we need to what's it called? Come up with some what's the word? Title music to transfer over to this stuff.
You like a bumper or something.
Yeah, like a little bumper. All right. And there you go. Now you guys can see. Except, sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone.
Here, do you need a little time, Chris? Because I can do our Nicolas Cage fact.
Yeah, do some Nicolas Cage fact.
All right. While we're waiting to bring this up, here's a Nicolas Cage fact. This one's a pretty well-known one, but I just wanted to make sure we cover it. He was born Nicholas Kim Coppola. I'm sure everyone knows this, but maybe you don't. He's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola and actress Talia Shire. He's cousins with Roman Coppola and Sofia Coppola and Jason Schwartzman. So he always wanted to be an actor. So when he was 15 years old, he tried to convince his uncle, Francis Ford Coppola, to give him a screen test. And he said, "I'll show you acting." His outburst was met with silence in the car. So to avoid the appearance of nepotism as Coppola's nephew, he changed his name early in his career to Nicolas Cage, inspired in part by the Marvel Comics superhero Luke Cage. That one I didn't know.
Wait,
you know that,
what?
Chris? Yeah.
No, what?
Yeah.
No.
That's such a weird deep cut. Such a it's not like inspired by Superman or like it's not Nicholas Kent. Man.
Man, I can't believe that.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm having a time here.
We have a fact from the chat that
keep them facts coming so I can furiously try to
Jenny's
fix
telling us
this.
that he was billed as Nicholas Coppola in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is, I believe, his first movie.
Interesting. I would say that one scene where he has like the video recorder or the little tape recorder. That's like weird. It'd be funny. It sounds like the beginning of Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs from Frasier.
That reference is over my head, but other people will get it.
No worries. Just like if you're ever bored, go search. Give me a salad, tossed salad, and scrambled eggs.
Hey, we're back in business. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So, yeah.
It's gonna be backwards for Patrick, but everyone else will see it normally, so don't worry.
No worries.
All right.
So we're gonna place our judgment. All right. So we have a bunch of categories that we like to use. So we have the cast. Was it 1 to 10, Meg?
Yeah, 1 to 10, and so we're each gonna give our ranking for the cast out of 10. I'm gonna give an 8 for this one. I felt like the cast was really strong. There's a lot of good acting in this, even if I didn't agree with the, writing of the characters, and a lot of fun cameos. So
I'm right there with you. I'm gonna go 7 just because, it's not like everywhere you look is another amazing Academy Award winner.
Fair.
It's like people, and I will say that it's not Jerry Lewis.
Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis, I did not expect him to do such a good job, but he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he had that. And all of it's so funny. All of them have a minute each probably, but they eat that screen time.
They do great.
They do well.
What you got, Pat?
I'm gonna give this one. I'm like a sucker for cameos and stuff. I'm giving this one a 9.
Woo! All right.
Yeah, and I love and I think Nicolas Cage and Elizabeth Shue, they do. God bless them. They try their damnedest to elevate it, and in some ways they succeed. In some ways you just can't.
So next up we have acting, and I think Chris, we should switch this around in order. Let's get Patrick's opinion on these first, even though my name is first on the thing.
All right, yeah.
I feel like no one needs to hear us talk as much as our.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of acting, Patrick?
Oh, acting. I would say like this is like a man. It's like so raw. It's like raw. This is like, it feels like it's like raw unfiltered Cage, and it's so like, it's like him at like his craziest, but it's not like crazy. It's like his craziness is used properly. Like it's like the right weapon for his insanity. I'm gonna give it like can you do 0.5?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like you know what? Actually, no. I'm gonna give it a 9 too. I'll give this a 9 too.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
All right.
I'll say acting wise, I'm gonna go 8 just because, I think he was set up for success.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
think
gonna give
Elizabeth
it
Shue
an
was
8
great too. 8. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was really any bad performances in this movie. That's one positive thing I can say out of it.
Yeah. Like this is like we're in like the good zone right now, so I have a feeling it's gonna get us way further down the list. It'll change.
All right, Patrick. How fun would you say this movie is?
Oh God. I'd say like, man, if I'm gonna be like, and it's fun. And here, I'll say this too. I like very grim stuff. I do. Like I like darkness. And this is a dark movie, but even like, there's only so much Goofy Cage can do to save a movie with this sort of like
Subject matter?
Yeah, subject matter, exactly. So I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.
All right.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What you got, Chris?
I'm there too. Like you couldn't really, so I'm gonna have to give it. I'm gonna have to give it a 3. There were some fun moments, but I'm gonna give it a 4 also.
I'm gonna give it a 2, and that's literally just for like some of the weirdness at the beginning. It was not a fun movie.
Oh, no,
All right. I'll do the special effects one first because I think that might be a tricky one. So this one's a little tricky because it's not a movie that needed special effects. So I don't know if we should really take points off for not having special effects, but I do think we are dealing with Nicolas Cage, action star, for most of these movies. So I'm just gonna give it a solid 5. Like, I don't think it needs to lose any points for it, but it certainly didn't have anything. And, the makeup was good. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to give it a 5 because maybe we should change this category to be less special effects and more of just like the technical quality of the movie, because it was shot on what was it, 16 millimeter?
Yeah, cool.
And I thought it gave it, I don't know, you guys are probably too young for this, but there's a show called Red Shoe Diaries hosted by David Duchovny on Showtime back in the day, and it gave the whole thing this feeling of like a softcore porn about to happen, like like especially those slow motion, the jagged slow motion, because they didn't have the high enough speed film. So like when they did the slow motion, it was like choppy, and like they were like, I don't know, all the weird jazz music and stuff. It seemed like a really long episode of Red Shoe Diaries.
That is like that's such an apt that is the aesthetic of this movie is like softcore Showtime, like early 90s Showtime or whatever.
Late night fucking porn movie.
Yeah. Oh man.
Fast forward to the pool scene.
So for special effects, like, do we include makeup and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, of course.
Let's just say overall technical.
I'm gonna give it one more. I'll give it a 6, just because like I love. I think Nicolas Cage's makeup in this movie is outstanding, and like he looks like something from like a fucking like F.W. Murnau movie, or like a German like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, like that level of like weird Tim Burton. Like, he's Burton-esque. It's unnerving.
Oh my god.
Right. Next up we got overall, Patrick, out of 10.
Overall, man, you know what, fun is like a huge factor, honestly. So if I'm gonna do overall, I'm gonna do 6. Can I do 6.5?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or it's 6, just 6.
Don't overthink it. We're
doing 6. I'm just gonna do 6 just because like I'm never gonna watch it again. It's not like, and it's genuinely upsetting. It's like an upsetting, like, and I don't think I would never suggest someone to watch this movie ever again, probably. But like, if you like, I would suggest someone would watch this movie, but they would have to skip certain parts. Like there's like 2 or 3 scenes I would like edit out of my disc, I would hand to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like you know what? Maybe a 5. Give it a 5. 5. I'm going to give it a 5. 5 out of 10.
Chris, can you take it down to a 5?
Yeah,
I'll
sorry,
take it down
Cage.
to a 5.
All right. Chris, what you got overall?
I'm right there with Patrick on the 5. I think it's, honestly, I did enjoy moments of it enough. I could see the value of it, but no.
I'm going to do a 3, and that's mostly for the acting. I just did not enjoy watching this. I don't ever want to watch it again. I don't want anyone else to watch it. I mean, yeah. And then, all right, so this last section, Patrick, so you get to award or take away a bonus point if you choose. But
for a particular reason.
For a particular reason. So I'm going to take a bonus point off because it was fucking upsetting.
Yeah, it's grim. It sucks.
It was upsetting. Yeah. All right, what you got, Chris?
I'm going to add a bonus point for Shoobs. Elizabeth Shue's boobs.
God. I do want to say Elizabeth Shue, we've been watching The Boys. Elizabeth Shue is now in her 50s. She still looks amazing.
The Shoobs have held up.
She just like is, very beautiful and charismatic, and it's just nice to like see that she's still getting work, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's all she rocks in this movie. She's like, in some ways she might be better in Cage in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna take away a bonus point just because like I went into this movie with like rose tinted glasses, being like, I love this movie in high school. Nothing in high school I liked was ever bad, so it must be good. And I went in and it was like, what have I done? It was like, what have I done? So yeah, taking a point.
So before we click on this, just want to, again, for the context, so we only have 2 movies so far, The Wicker Man and Leaving Las Vegas. I know the score for The Wicker Man, so I know what this result is going to be. But Patrick, I'm just curious, where do you think this will end up on that ranking?
Oh man, that's so hard. I think, you know what? I feel like this is like a ranking list that appreciates the pleasures of Cage, like, his highs and his lows, and like his hamminess and his like. So I'm gonna say this is lower than Wicker Man.
Okay, let's see the results, Chris.
It beat out Wicker Man.
Holy shit! Interesting.
I think
good.
Only narrowly, but I think a lot of the Wicker Man was boring, and I think that's what really screwed it.
Yeah, and I think that we gave it such high acting and cast.
Yeah,
scores.
The acting's good. It's it's well acted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that really pushed it over the edge.
Well, we have one last section of data collection that we have to do, and that is the Cage map, where we map acting versus craziness. So last week we did Nick Cage craziness for acting for The Wicker Man. So let's go, Patrick. On a rank from 1 to 10, what would you gauge Nick Cage's craziness in this movie? Like Crazy Cage,
man.
how crazy would you get?
This is the Cage gauge too.
Oh, the Cage gauge.
The Cage map is also very good.
Cage Gauge is good. That's you know what? I'm gonna give this is a solid 8 because like it's not like peak crazy, but like he eats an ice cube with a chopstick. That's nuts.
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 7 because he does get crazier in some other movies, I think. How about you?
I'm gonna give it. I think if I gave a 7 to Wicker Man, I'm gonna give this a 5 because I know he's like, but he doesn't punch any ladies in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Ooh,
fair.
yeah, that is true. Oh wow, yeah. All right. So acting wise, where would you say, Meg? Where would you say?
I'm gonna give him a 9. I mean, he won the
9?
Oscar for it.
And how about you?
I'm giving it a 9 as well. It's like one of my favorite. It's maybe in my top 3 Cage performances. Like honestly.
All right, I'm gonna get it up there too. I think I'm gonna give him an 8. Just because I like the adaptation better. But I'm gonna say
that's really
all right.
That's my 10. I would say.
So let's look at the Cage map, or the Cage gauge now is called. And this one is, so you can see the Wicker Man is down here in what we call the crazy bad acting quadrant. But I had assumed that the non-crazy good acting would be this quadrant, but crazy good acting, I call that the holy grail of Cage. that's where we got our what's it called? Our Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we have an Oscar corner of the map, and this is his only Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah, so we might have to switch that and come up with a different thing for it.
Oh man,
Also-
I love this. Is like this would make a great political alignment.
Yeah.
As we get more points on this, it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I think that we have hit the end of our show. Does anyone have any closing thoughts about this movie?
Yeah, it's like it's ultimately it is a bummer how like distressing like scenes in this is, and it's like there's a part of me that like I feel like the story. I hope there's like yeah, I just wish it worked better. That's all, I guess. That's all you can wish for. And I wish it wasn't. And I wish it wasn't as just like. I wish there were scenes that were just like cut out of the film, like and maybe burned forever.
I think my closing thought is like I know that we've been pretty harsh on this movie, but my guess is at the time it was viewed very differently, and like it, I think it was an important movie for him. It was an important movie for the world. I think it just doesn't really hold up to our modern sensibilities.
We've grown out of it.
Yeah, like I think I don't think it. I'm not mad at it for being made. I think it's just it's product of its time.
I think what the thing that translates for me to this movie are those moments where it's very surreal and strange, and you don't know what's really happening and stuff. I like that stuff, but then just it's hard for a movie made in the 90s to kind of like when they're going for it to stick,
we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll certainly be watching other 90s movies. And speaking of other 90s movies, this is a great time to promo our next week's show, which will be a lot more uplifting. But also, I haven't seen this movie in a while, so I'm going to be really curious to see how it holds up. This is one of the classic Nicolas Cage movies, which is Face Off. We are so excited to do Face Off. Just starting out with the hits, our guest is going to be our friend, Boston comedian and physical therapist Dan Chapman. Very excited to have him.
So back problems, he'll talk about those.
Yeah, but Face Off is such a classic. Oh my God, there's so many things about it. Another thing that I want to promote too is on this channel on twitch.tv/managerscomedy. We have a improv show where we do short form improv twice a week, on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time and on Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'm in it, Pat's in it, lots of our friends are in it. It's fun, it's stupid. So if you like this, just follow us on Twitch and you'll see notifications when that pops up. Pat, what would you like to promote? Where can people find you on the internet? What's going on in your life?
Oh man, so I am so my name is Patrick Remion on Twitter, but my handle is, of course, not that, because at the time I wasn't thinking. So my handle is at the Corch, TheCorch. I'm just gonna put that in chat, actually.
Oh, okay, I just did it too. Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But
I'll do it too. Why not?
We're all doing it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And then it's not probably going to come out for a few weeks, but I'm working on a podcast called The Academy. And I'll talk about it more in the future maybe, but for now I'll just say it's going to be good.
Did you do your Nixon thing?
Oh my God, yes. So every Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm doing a thing called Fox Nixon.
8 p.m. Pacific time? Sorry.
8 p.m. Pacific time.
We have a cross-coast listener base, so...
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But it's like, so it's on my Twitch channel, just Patrick Remy on my name. And I'm basically playing Star Fox 64 while listening to the audiobook of Nixon Land. And if you just want to watch me silently play Star Fox 64 while learning about the horrors of Richard Nixon, that is the place and time.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Pat. So as we usually do for our shows, we are encouraging you to donate if you have the means, and this is something you cause you support. I'm going to paste the link into the chat. The cause that we've been promoting is a fund called Get Mitch or Die Trying, which is a fundraiser for various Democratic Senate candidates, is particularly in places that are hotly contested, or the possibility to flip things Democratic, and they funnel the money towards elections that are close or they need money. So sort of like an actively managed way to donate to a lot of different people at once. Seems like it's pretty well run, and we are probably not going to be able to get Mitch McConnell out of office, but we can certainly make him no longer the Senate Majority Leader by getting a lot of other Republicans out of office. So I don't know, just something to put your money to if you're like, God, I need some hope in my life. I think that's it.
Also one thing,
Yes,
we have this is a podcast now.
yes, thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on I think we're on Tuesdays is when I will upload these. We have
Okay.
one now, and it's available pretty much everywhere. So just subscribe to
Spotify,
it on
Podcasts.
everything: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So yeah, subscribe to it. We're coming out new ones on Tuesdays.
You can always follow us too if you want. If you're more of a visual person, you can always follow us on YouTube. The link is in the Twitch website, and you can watch old episodes there as well.
Yep. Also, if you want to see me in a singlet, the Quarantine Action Wrestling is coming to 2MB Studios next Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Pacific, and there's gonna be a Royal Rumble, and I will be wrestling along with a bunch of other comedians. Comedians make they make all the promo materials and interviews and stuff for the wrestlers, and then all the wrestling is done using a computer, so it's fun stuff.
Hell yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Pat. That's been awesome to have you as a
Yeah,
guest.
thanks,
Thank you
Pat.
For making
This was so much fun.
a really depressing movie a fun conversation. I think we
I,
can.
I promise the next time I come, if I ever come on again, we'll do the Croods.
The Croods.
We'll do the Croods.
Oh man, one
I
day
think-
when we finally do the Croods, it's gonna be like, wow, remember when we said we were gonna do the Croods, and now we're doing the Croods.
Episode 500.
Oh my god.
We're living in a space station. Yeah.
One day we'll catch up to him making movies, and then that'll be a
Yeah,
crazy day.
that's true. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great evening, and see you all next week for Face Off.